Hello and welcome back to the Faithful TV. In this week's video we're going to be looking at Palace away, transfers, the ones that have happened and the ones that could happen, as well as our season goals. Have we completed everything we set out to do at the start of the year? So first things first, starting with the game yesterday against Palace. It was all about getting 3 points. You know, we're creeping up to that line, finishing in the top 4. Liverpool keeping pressure on us, and you know, by hook or by crook we just needed a win. It didn't matter if we dominated possession, it didn't matter if we played flamboyant, attractive football, we just had to get the result, and that's exactly what we've done. We found a new penalty taker in Juan Mata. Started the game well, didn't we? Ashley Young was rampant down that left wing. Joel Ward's going to have absolute nightmares about Young for weeks to come because he really ripped him apart yesterday. But I thought the first half we was excellent. We controlled the game, we created a few chances. The penalty was a justified decision, and Mata tucked it away. While we're on penalties, I know a lot of people said, you know, Rooney should have taken it, Van Persie should never have lost it, Rooney should never have lost it, blah blah blah. Messi is Barcelona's penalty taker despite missing a few. So what? For me, I think you're a penalty taker until you miss, and then it goes on to the next guy. It doesn't go all the way through the team. Obviously that would be stupid, going all the way back to a centre half who can't shoot. But I think Van Persie's been our penalty taker for the last couple of years. He's now missed a few. While he's been absent, Rooney's been our penalty taker and he's missed a few. I think it should be you are the penalty taker until you miss. And I think, for example, had Mata missed yesterday, then it would have gone to the next guy, but that would all be decided before the game is started. So yeah, I think Mata was a good choice, and it was proven to be a good choice because he scored. So that's my take on penalties anyway. Palace came back into the game. They changed a few things around. Jason Puncheon come on. When they had Puncheon, Zaha and Balassi, we couldn't really deal with that pace. They were closing us down further on the pitch, but a lot of that also came down to the fact Luke Shaw and Wayne Rooney both went off injured. It changed the dynamic of the team. We had a centre half, a right-footed centre half playing at left back. We had Johnny Evans come on, who hasn't appeared for the last 7 games. So a lot, there was a lot of changes, and Palace, they sort of took advantage of that. They scored a good free kick. It was deflected. Again, people were blaming Daley Blind for the deflection. It didn't, in any way, shape or form, he did not duck his head out of the way. The only thing Blind can be guilty of is not jumping, but the whole wall didn't jump. So that to me suggests that they've agreed none of them will jump, rather than a couple of them jumping and a couple of them not. They've all agreed not to jump, so you can't blame Daley Blind for that deflection at all. He didn't duck his head out of the way. He's not Nasri. We all remember Nasri doing that for Van Persie's free kick when we won 3-2 at the Etihad, don't we? And it was absolutely nothing like that. So yeah, heading towards the last 10 minutes, Fellaini nicked the winner. Can't argue with it. Again, Julian Speroni came out. He crashed into his own defender. There may have been a bit of a shove by Falcao, but he just swings and roundabouts. You get some of these and you don't. And Fellaini capitalised. So a very, very strong position, which basically means today we're all going to be supporting Chelsea. We'd all normally support Chelsea anyway when they're playing Liverpool, but there's even more reason to sort of bust out the blue t-shirts and hope Mourinho does us a favour. I wrote something last week about this race for top 4, and obviously with Chelsea winning the title, going on a 4-day holiday, they might not be up for it today. They might be in holiday mode. Liverpool are going to be G'd up because they've already got to clap Chelsea out onto the pitch, and nobody wants to do that. We've seen it happen before, and it really puts a rocket up a team's arse, doesn't it? So Liverpool are going to want to make Chelsea pay for that, if you like. So hopefully Mourinho won't let his guys slack. He'll get them out of second gear, and they'll get the job done for us today. On to transfers. We've completed the signing of Memphis Depay for 22 million. Absolutely no arguments from any section of the United fans, I don't imagine. He has scored 22 goals for PSV this year. He was excellent for Van Gaal when he played for Holland. He's rapid. He's absolutely rapid. We need pace up top. He's rapid. He's a winger come striker. The only problem for me is we've already got a fair few of these guys. So there's a hell of a lot of attacking numbers at the club now, and it sort of suggests that maybe 1 or 2 will be on their way. Whether Januzaj will get loaned out, whether Di Maria will leave, maybe you're even looking at a more centrally Falcao and Van Persie. You just don't know. But at the moment there's sort of too many cooks in that kitchen. But in terms of that transfer on its own, absolutely delighted. He's a very, very talented player. A lot of clubs were looking at him, and I'm very glad we've got the deal signed and sealed early. Today's papers have been reporting a few other things, so I'm going to go through them one by one. Nathaniel Klein for 18 million, I'd say yes. Where else are you going to get a young, talented right back for cheaper than that? If you're going to go into Europe, you're going to be playing well over the odds. If you're looking at other English right backs, there's not many that are as good or better than him. I think Klein's the perfect fit, and 18 is a very good price considering we paid 30 million for Luke Shaw. So I'll say yes to Klein. Mats Hummels for 25 million. Again, it's a no-brainer. A lot of people question his pace, but John Terry hasn't got the best pace, and he's been outstanding this season, the best centre half in the country without a doubt. Hummels is a talented individual. He's a leader. He's very intelligent, and he would slot right into our side. He would get in without any question. I think alongside Chris Smalling, that could work very well next year. So it's a thumbs up for Hummels. Gundogan for 20 million. I think the fee's a bit low, but again, in the last year of his contract, so we'll utilise the cheapness of it. Deep line centre midfielder, creative player, could play alongside Carrick, could be Carrick's long-term replacement. Again, it's a thumbs up from me because I've watched enough of him to know that he's a good player. The only thing was he had a long-term injury, so will that have a lasting effect? Is he going to be another Owen Hargreaves? We've signed players before with injuries, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. But if the medical team are happy with him, happy with his state, happy with his body, then so am I, and I'd love to see him at the club. And the last one that I read today was Hugo Lloris for 30 million, and that is a monumental no from me. I think he's overrated. I think he's just like Fabian Barthez. Lloris can make a save. He's a good goalkeeper, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's rubbish, but he's exceptionally overrated. He's a good shot stopper, but he also lets in a fair few. He didn't have a good game yesterday against Stoke. He goes wandering out the area. You find him halfway, outside his box, and you think, where the hell are you going? And he gets nowhere near the ball. He has one of those crazy moments. It might be a French thing. Barthez was like it. Cantona was like it. It could be a French thing, but 30 million is far too much for a bang average goalkeeper. Who would I get instead? I'd go out for Petr Cech, 32 years old. I would say he's the third best goalie in the league behind De Gea and Courtois. Bear in mind we signed Van der Sar when he was 35, so Cech at 32 is not. It's not a. It won't be a waste of money, and it's not a bold choice. He's not too old. Goalkeepers go on forever these days, so at 32 you've got a good 5 or 6 years there. Failing that, I'd give Victor Valdez a go. He's won everything there is to win with Barcelona. He's overcome his injury. He's just sitting on the bench waiting for a go. So this is all obviously it's all a big question mark as if De Gea will actually leave or not. So that's what I would do if De Gea leaves. If De Gea doesn't go anywhere and signs a contract, then that's all null and void. But please, God, do not let us sign Hugo Lloris. The final point on the agenda was our season's goals. It was simple, finishing the top 4. We haven't done it yet. We do need a favour from Chelsea today, or we need to beat Arsenal or Hull over the next 2 weeks. But if it happens, it should happen when it happens. Nobody can have any complaints. Last year we finished 7th. We was atrocious. Everybody knows we were atrocious. We was playing awful football. We had no direction. The players didn't want to be there. And this year the goal was to take a team that finished 7th and get them in the Champions League. And that is what the manager is on the cusp of doing. It would have been very nice to have knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup and perhaps gone on to win a trophy. But at this stage, beggars can't be choosers. And yes, I am referring to us as beggars because you just have to remember where we was last year. It's all well and good saying we were champions 2 years ago, but from last season we was a team that finished 7th. We was awful, and to get up into the Champions League is very, very good progress. Now, if you want to talk to me, I'm on Twitter. My Twitter name is @NathonW. That's NathonW. Give me a shout. I'm always up for a chat. Keep watching these videos on the Faithful TV. We always like hearing from you. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and talk to all the guys on the Faithful TV. So yeah, come on Chelsea today. See you later.